The first reports sounded ridiculous. Short bursts of clapping heard late at night from abandoned homes. Most people ignored the stories completely. Old houses made strange noises all the time. Pipes shifted, wood contracted, animals got inside walls. Nobody took the complaints seriously until recordings began appearing online. The sounds never resembled random noise. They sounded unmistakably human. Slow, uneven. Applause. One of the earliest recordings came from a couple renovating an old farmhouse outside Lincoln, Nebraska in 2021. According to them, the clapping started shortly after midnight on their third night inside the property. At first, they assumed somebody was outside the house, but after checking every room repeatedly, they realized the sound seemed to come from different locations each time. Sometimes upstairs, sometimes directly behind walls, sometimes from rooms they had just left moments earlier. The husband eventually recorded part of the audio on his phone. The clip later spread across several horror forums online. For nearly 20 seconds, only silence can be heard. Then 3 slow claps echo somewhere deep inside the house. A long pause follows afterward. Then 4 more claps, closer this time. The recording ends immediately after the husband quietly whispers, "I think it wants us to answer." Most viewers dismissed the footage as staged, until similar stories began surfacing elsewhere, different states, different houses, but always the same detail. The homes were empty, or at least believed to be empty. A property inspector in rural Missouri later claimed he heard clapping inside an abandoned Victorian house scheduled for demolition. According to his statement, the sound seemed to follow him room to room during the inspection. Whenever he stopped walking, the clapping stopped too. The inspector reportedly refused returning to the property afterward. Months later, local teenagers broke into the same house while filming videos for social media. Police later recovered part of the footage after one of the teenagers called emergency services in distress. The video itself was never released publicly, but leaked descriptions online claimed the group initially mocked the rumors while exploring the building. Then one of them jokingly clapped twice toward a dark hallway. Almost immediately, 2 claps echoed back. Not louder, not distorted, perfectly matched. The call to emergency dispatch disconnected less than 4 minutes later. Police reportedly found the house empty when they arrived. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of other individuals inside. Yet according to unofficial reports shared online years later, officers noticed something deeply unsettling while reviewing body cam footage from the scene. At several moments during the search, faint clapping could still allegedly be heard somewhere upstairs, always out of sight, always distant. Then came the detail that caused the stories to spread far beyond local rumors. People began noticing the applause sometimes happened before someone entered the house. One family claimed neighbors repeatedly complained about clapping noises coming from their recently inherited home, despite the property remaining vacant for weeks. The owners eventually visited to inspect the building personally. According to relatives later interviewed online, they found every room empty. But one bedroom upstairs contained dozens of dusty handprints covering the walls near the ceiling. No explanation was ever found for how they got there. The family sold the property less than 2 months later. As reports increased online, several paranormal forums began collecting audio recordings connected to the phenomenon. That was where users first identified what became known unofficially as the audience rule. According to people sharing experiences, the clapping rarely happened randomly. It usually followed specific actions: entering certain rooms, speaking loudly, turning lights off, stopping suddenly in hallways. One user described the sounds as feeling less like haunting activity and more like something reacting to a performance. That phrase became widely repeated afterward, especially after a leaked voicemail surfaced in late 2022. The audio came from a real estate photographer hired to document an empty mansion outside Baltimore before renovation work began. According to archived posts, she left the property abruptly after hearing repeated clapping inside the upper floor corridors. Several hours later, she reportedly sent a voicemail to a coworker explaining what happened. The recording itself lasts just under 1 minute. At first, her voice sounds nervous but controlled. She repeatedly insists somebody else must still be inside the building. Then a loud clap suddenly echoes somewhere nearby. The woman becomes quiet immediately afterward. Several seconds pass. Then another clap sounds closer, and another, each one moving gradually nearer through the mansion, toward her. Near the end of the voicemail, she whispers something that online discussions later obsessed over for months. According to enhanced versions of the audio, she says, "It stops whenever I stop moving." The next sound in the recording is a single clap directly beside the phone microphone. The voicemail ends immediately afterward. Police later confirmed the woman abandoned most of her equipment inside the mansion. No evidence of intruders was found. The story might have faded into internet folklore completely, if not for what happened last winter. A contractor restoring a flooded property in northern Illinois uploaded a series of short videos documenting interior damage repairs. Nothing unusual appeared initially. Broken pipes, collapsed ceilings, water damage. But viewers eventually noticed something hidden in the background of one clip. While the contractor films a dining room wall, faint applause can briefly be heard somewhere upstairs. The contractor himself appears not to notice. Online comments immediately flooded the upload, warning him about the sound. 2 days later, he posted one final update. The video lasted only 14 seconds. The contractor stood alone inside the darkened house holding a flashlight. He looked exhausted. At first, nothing happened. Then, somewhere deeper inside the building, slow clapping echoed once through the hallway. The contractor froze immediately. A second clap followed. Closer. Then a third. This time directly behind him. The camera jerked violently sideways as the man turned. For one single frame, viewers later claimed another pair of hands could briefly be seen clapping in complete darkness near the staircase. The upload disappeared less than an hour later. No further updates were ever posted. But according to archived comments saved before deletion, one user claimed they replayed the final clip repeatedly and noticed something most viewers missed entirely. The contractor never actually stopped moving during the recording. Not once. Yet the clapping still kept getting closer anyway.